All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with a Monday edition of the MLB Witching Hour. I see our guy Richie Smalls in the chat saying like button is smashed. Go ahead and smash that like button on your way and hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Feel like it's that time. It's the dog days of September here. MLB, NFL, obviously the forefront here, how much, but we're going to continue bringing the NFL, the NBA. Let me back up and try this again. We're going to continue bringing the MLB winners for the people, along with the NFL winners, which are guys Hoop, Tambo, and Title Crown himself, who had himself a very, very nice weekend on Free Money Sunday here in the NFL streets. Those guys just got off the air about an hour ago, breaking down everything you need for tonight's show. That's right here on this channel, free. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll go live, get notifications every time we do go live right here on this channel. Without further ado, let me bring you in, Hamwich. How's your Monday? How was your weekend? NFL? Anything that you saw? Anything that's standing out over the slate? How's your workday been going? What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing? Had a great weekend. I mean, football's back, right in the middle of baseball season as well. Dog days of September. Going to start seeing some of these guys that have been AAA all season coming up to the bigs. I don't think we're quite there yet, but there is some, a little bit of prize pools in there. I think DraftKings and FanDuel know that a lot of the focus will be on the NFL as well. They've kind of lowered their prize pools, especially on FanDuel, which they've lowered it a lot. But, yeah, I mean, we crushed it over here at SHIPIT Nation this weekend. I saw my boy Title Crown, won 6,000 and 4,000 in the slant, so congratulations to him. Saw a bunch of screenshots and happy to help the people. We're going to give them the MLB winners tonight. I watched that Tambo and Title and Hoop show as well. They broke down the NFL showdown. I'll tell you what, there's really no three, in my opinion, better voices when it comes to showdown. I really enjoy listening to that show. But yeah, other than that, great Monday, and it's beautiful here. And going to pick some MLB winners and hopefully ship $1 million tonight in that NFL showdown. I'll be in those streets for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be I'll be in those showdown streets heavily. I'll be in the MLB streets. We don't take days off over here. We like and get the content nice and early. I got the MLB slate plan already up on the site over here for subscribers. I got the core reports already up there. I do need to make a slight change. I had Yainer Diaz for the Astros, who I like a little bit here tonight as one of the guys in my core piece. Obviously, he's not in the lineup there, so I will update that. But you can't get that unless you hit the 3-2-1 Blast-Off special here. Gets you access to all of our premium content behind the paywall, starting lineups page, tools, content, projections. And the big one I want to highlight there is the tools and the community. Those two things right there, hands down, bar none, best top-notch in the industry for the price. I mean, our Discord, no tilting in there. Members helping members. Myself, Tambo, Hoop, Hamwich, Hebrew, all of us coordinators over here, all of us admin staff are always in that Discord answering questions, talking game theory, talking approach, along with some of the other best players in the world that are just members in there helping out. It's an incredible place to be. And then the tools, man. The tools, if you guys watched Tambo and myself's NFL review show this morning, that's right here on this channel. Definitely head on to that and check that video out. If you look at our stack tools from this weekend, our top-ranked stack was Mr. Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne and Juju Smith-Schuster. Obviously, Mac Jones didn't go there, but if you played Mr. Kendrick Bourne, you had yourself a pretty nice Sunday. We had other amazing stacks on there, and that's just some of the pieces that you get. $321 does get you access to that. This price is going away tonight after kickoff. So once that game, Monday Night Football tonight, does kickoff, the price is going up to $69.99 a month or $699 for the year. So act now. Time is now to get in all the incredible premium content that we have, including NBA coming shortly around the corner and NHL, which I will be heading up. Obviously, all the other sports as well. But people are here for MLB. These are the real MLB baseball grinders in the chat that are hanging out with us, obviously with big Monday Night Football, huge contest. the other contests for these other sports that are secondary, everything comes secondary to NFL. Everyone knows that. Prize pools have dropped a little bit, but there's still money to be made. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about pitchers first, how we always do. Start at the top. We'll start pitchers. Let me go ahead and sort this by salary. 1 second. Give me a second as optimizer here. So up at the top, let's go ahead and break it from top down. We'll go 8K and above. So obviously got a couple guys in here. A couple names I want to throw out for you that are going to get ownership on the slate. Logan Gilbert seems to be the clear-cut chalk. Gets that Los Angeles Angels matchup, which obviously is littered with strikeouts. No Ohtani, no Trout. Bunch of minor leaguers in there. A bunch of guys that just strike out a lot. Not a really scary lineup to face. He's going to be probably 40 to 50% owned on this slate. Framber Valdez is going to be 25, 30, 35%, somewhere in that range. He's probably going to be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate, or at least one of them. He does get that Oakland matchup. Obviously, Houston back at home here. They were incredible as of late in terms of the bats, one of the best offenses in baseball. So should have run support behind him. He's got a pretty good projection over here. And then Brandon Woodruff all the way up there. So kind of those four guys at the top are getting ownership. And then the cheap guy in this upper tier is going to be Dylan Cease against Kansas City. So about five guys up here, all 20% plus owned in Woodruff, Glasnow, Framber, Logan Gilbert, and then Dylan Cease. Everyone else in this range is going to be pretty squeezed. Where are you going?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty clear cut for me, Nades, that my number one pitcher on the entire slate is going to be Tyler Glasnow. He has a great matchup in facing these Minnesota Twins, who we've really been picking on all season as it relates to the strikeouts. His ceiling as it relates to strikeouts is probably the highest on the slate. This Twins team is striking out over 26% of the time at home against right-handed pitching. Glasnow in his last two starts, 103 in 97 pitches. So to me, the concern is always going to be, what's the leash like for Tyler Glasnow? Obviously, with as many strikeouts as he gets, the pitch count is going to rack up. So with that, he's throwing, let's just call it 100 pitches to start. I think he can get us 10 plus Ks. He's got an elite matchup. So Tyler Glasnow is my number one. My number two in this range would be Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff, his strikeouts, since he's come back from the IL, have just been pretty good. 11, 8, and 6. He too throwing 100 pitches every time out. This Marlins team is a little, gotten a little bit, better, so to speak, over the course of the season, just based on some of the acquisitions that they picked up. And outside of Luis Ariz, this team does strike out quite a bit. So I'll take my chances, 8 of 9 guys with high K potential. So Woodruff would be my number two. And then number three for me would be Framber Valdez. And that's strictly based on the matchup. He's got an elite matchup against these Oakland Athletics. The downside, in my opinion, to Valdez is he's not a strikeout pitcher. He's more of a finesse pitcher. He was going to throw 100 pitches, but he's only striking out 15% of right-handed hitters that he's faced over the last 30 days. So I don't think he has the same amount of upside as those other two. And for this, virtually the same price, $500 or $1,000 more, he will be a clear-cut number three for me. And then just let me touch on these other ones if you don't mind. Logan Gilbert, I agree with you. His K prop is 8.5, almost 9 today. I'm not going to go there. Ever since I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy a couple days ago was complaining about going out there in the seventh inning. George Kirby. I just don't think that Scott Service is going to leave these guys out there, longer than 90 to 100 pitches. So with him being the chalk, I get it that these Angels are not a good offense. No Ohtani, no Trout, but I'm out on Logan Gilbert. And then Dylan Cease would be the only one just based off matchup. I haven't dug in enough to know, but he does have strikeout potential. But this, I feel like this Royals team's been peskier than we give him credit for. But Dylan Cease would be number 4 for me in that range. That was long-winded, but that's where I'm at in this top range.
No, excellent breakdown. Great breakdown there. Got to say hi to a couple more people that have tuned in. Toga, welcome in, Toga. We appreciate you grinding September, dog days of baseball. We the people, WTP in the chat, always in here. We the people, we appreciate you. Timothy Leave, Richie Smalls, Warren. What's going on, y'all? Welcome in. Got to give a shout out to my girl Ash out in Kansas. out in Wichita tuning in. She's still mourning over that Kansas City loss, but I appreciate her. She doesn't even play, just tuning in to be a nice little nice friend there. So we appreciate you. Give you a little shout out there. But yeah, I'm a little different than you here. I do like Brandon Woodruff as my number one pitcher on the slate, all things considered. A little bit of salary discount there, $500 off Glass now. I just like the matchup for Woodruff. He's been great since he's been returning. And you named it, right? Luis Arraez is the only bat that I'm really scared of in that Miami lineup. I think he can navigate. Brewers, I mean, Woodruff's been incredible since his return. So I love him. Tyler Glasnow would be number 2 for me. I love Tyler Glasnow here. Strikeout upside. Yeah, the Twins do have some power here. But, I mean, Glasnow, he's incredible. He's got the best strikeout matchup of all these, or best strikeout rate on the season of all these pitchers on the slate against the lineup that strikes out the 5th most versus right-handed pitching on the season here. So love Glasnow if you can get up to him. I do like a double spend pitcher out here tonight. Obviously, we have Coors Field slate. We'll talk about that once we get to the bats. But I like those 2 guys at the top. Framber Valdez is a complete fade for me. He's going to face 8 right-handers here. Strikes out just over the last month, 15% of right-handed bats. Gets 8 of them here against Oakland. Oakland can be pretty pesky. Framber's an easy cross-off for me. I get it. He's a ground ball pitcher, but he's been struggling against righties and gets 8 out of 9 hitters from the right side of the plate here tonight. So I'll take the cross-off on him. Logan Gilbert, I get all the cases. I mean, man, this dude could go out there in 90 pitches and strike out 12 of these Angels. So that's a piece that I am willing to play. It's all about how you play Logan Gilbert. I do think he definitely makes some sense. I would probably stay away from the Logan Gilbert, Dylan Cease pairing. Dylan Cease is going to get some ownership. And I think that pairing is going to be pretty popular just because both of them are pretty reasonably priced and you can still afford some big time bats with that pairing instead of going all the way up to the Glasnows or the Woodruffs at 10-3, 10-8 is personally how I see it. Dylan Cease, I think he's fine, right, versus Kansas City. But I actually want to bring up one guy. I want to bring up Gavin Williams at 8K. He's got a lot of strikeout stuff. He's got a big arm. Gets about a middle-of-the-road matchup here against San Francisco, 16th best matchup against right-handers for strikeouts, so kind of middle of the road. I just think he's got a big arm. He's 8K, direct pivot right there off Dylan Cease. He's going to be 25 to 30% owned. Gavin Williams is going to be sub 5% ownership at $300 cheaper. That's my pivot there. So I like that. Ranks very good in our rankings over here. So I guess ranking this range for me, it's going to be Brandon Woodruff number 1, Glasnow number 3. I'll go ownership, salary, everything considered. I'll go Gavin Williams 3rd, and then Logan Gilbert would be my 4th. That's kind of the top range there for me. Let's hit on the cheap tier here before we go. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, Bill B put in there, and neither one of us talked about him. What's your take on the Lizard King tonight?
Yeah, the Lizard King. So that's another, I mean, he's getting some ownership here, but looking at this Milwaukee team, I get it, right? The Milwaukee offense typically hasn't been too scary, but I guess, I mean, looking at the numbers, they have definitely struck out a lot more at home against left-handed pitching. Really, I mean, the back half of this lineup, Willie Adames, 32%. Tyrone Taylor, typically a lefty masher. It's either a home run or a strikeout, 30%, 27, 24, 31, 29. So outside of 3 bats, I mean, 6 out of the 9 hitters all strike out 25% or higher. So Lizard King with his 28.5% strikeout rate on the season, think makes some sense here. The guys that I would be scared of in this lineup is Mark Canha, William Contreras, Willie Adames, Tyrone Taylor. All those guys hit lefties pretty well for power, but strikeouts do come with that. I think he's fine. The reason I think he's fine is because he's sandwiched. Dylan Cease is sandwiched between Gavin Williams and Luzardo. So everyone seems to be going to Dylan Cease. So I guess Luzardo, that is a good point. I do think he gets some ownership, but with Dylan Cease right there, $200 cheaper, he's going to be significantly lower owned than Cease. So I like both of those pivots right there off of Cease. That's kind of why I'm out on Dylan Cease here tonight. We know what Cease is. Kansas City's been hitting as of late. I think they can hit for power against Cease. So give me Luzardo and Gavin Williams both over Dylan Cease here. I do like that point. Yeah,
and then real quick too, could you touch on what the ownership percentage is going to be on this top tier range? I heard you say a couple, but who's going to be the highest owned? Tell the people that all the way down to maybe the top 4.
Yeah, so the highest owned by far on the slate is Logan Gilbert. That's your chalk SP1. I see my guy Title freaking Crown in the chat. Title Crown in the chat. The cash
Mr.
guy
Ken
over
K
here.
himself.
Mr. 10K himself, 250 stacks last year. Best ball. The dude just prints money, free money Sunday. He wasn't lying. But I'm sure if I look at the cash stuff, obviously Logan Gilbert's going to be the staple there. He's clearing away the chalk on the slate. And Framber Valdez is actually number 2, which is interesting to me when he's facing 8 right-handed hitters that strike out. And he's got a sub 16% strikeout rate against righties over the last month. So Framber Valdez, it seems to be this chalk number 2. Brandon Woodruff and then Dylan Cease is kind of rounding that out. Everyone else really on the slate is under 15 to 20% ownership. So those 4 are the big 4: Logan Gilbert, Valdez, Brandon Woodruff, Dylan Cease. Valdez and Cease for me are thrown out. Logan Gilbert and Woodruff, I do have interest in both of those. So that's kind of the breakdown of ownership, at least how it stands currently at 3:45 here. Obviously, we have about 2 hours or so before lock, so definitely monitor that. Let's talk on the cheaper guys in this slate. A couple guys I want to throw out. Obviously, I'm not going to read them all. Reed Detmer is getting a little ownership here in that Seattle matchup that obviously we know Seattle strikes out some. You got Brady Singer here, who's been good, especially at home, gets these White Sox who typically we're not afraid of. Brady Singer has a very, very good projection for his price point over here. Very low ownership as well. And then Cutter Crawford gets a very, very watered down New York Yankees lineup now. Obviously, he doesn't have to face Dominguez anymore, but obviously, I mean, he's still got Judge in there, still got Stanton, but 27% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching on the road this season for these Yankees. Not the greatest hitting weather in Fenway. Obviously, it's a good park, but not the greatest hitter weather. Pretty cold there. So hit on him. And then anyone else down here that you have interest in.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it pretty short and sweet here, Nates, because when I was going through this list of lower tier guys, there's just really no one to me that I could see even playing. I was thinking Brady Singer, but when you go back and look at his last 3 starts, they haven't been good. And his last time out was against these same White Sox. So I know I don't have that much confidence in, but he threw 59 pitches, got negative points on DK. Start before that got 7 points. The start before that negative 0.4 points. So I'm out on Brady Singer. I mean, he was dynamite there in the middle of the summer. Now he's regressed, so I'm out on him. The other one that I would have a little bit of interest in, if anybody, if they weren't playing this team, would be Jose Quintana, who has been he's been pretty good. I mean, in all honesty, he was a guy that I picked on early in the season, and he's been really good over the last month or so himself. My issue with him would be the strikeout percentage of D-backs. D-backs don't strike out on the road against lefties. I do think that he gets a park upgrade, so I might have a little interest in him if I was going to play on DK and had to go to 2 pitchers. As you all know, most of my stuff is done on FanDuel, so I'll only need 1 pitcher. I don't think I'll need to get down here. So I know you may have some interest in some of these guys down here, but for me, I'm not. If I do play on DraftKings, I won't have any of these guys below 8K.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I got to bring up one guy. I think my favorite pitcher, if you are coming down here, again, I do think this is a double spend up pitcher slate. That's personally where I'm going. Outside of, I mean, on my core over here for subscribers, I did put one cheap guy, and that's Cutter Crawford, 5,700 against this Yankees lineup. 27% strikeout rate here the Yankees have against right-handed pitching. And Cutter Crawford has the 9th best strikeout matchup all season long. On all of these starting pitchers, and he's just 5,700. There's multiple bats on the slate that are more expensive than him. He goes out there and gets me 12 to 15 points, which I definitely think is in the realm of possibilities, even if he gives up a home run or 2 to Judge or Stanton or Glaber, anyone else in that lineup. I mean, he's outscored. That's perfect as an SP2. It's basically you're playing a high-priced stud bat that can easily go out there and go 0 for 4 and get you a 0. He's at least hopefully going to get you positive points here. I'm expecting 12 to 15 DraftKings points. If it gets more than that, great. But when I am punting pitcher like this, I want a pitcher that has a good strikeout matchup and that has the capability is a strikeout pitcher, and that fits the bill with Cutter Crawford. Also, the weather in Fenway here tonight, 70 degrees, wind blowing in, so not the greatest hitting conditions. Obviously, it's still a park upgrade there, but I do have interest in him. Pretty much nobody else down here I'm going to. If I'm punting pitcher, it's solely with Cutter Crawford, nobody else. So go ahead and give the people your top 3 or 4 pitchers on the slate. We'll go game by game for bats.
Now, wait just a minute. You invented Free Money Freeland at home in Colorado. Now you're not even going to play him as the lowest pitcher on the slate. Is that what I'm hearing? No Freeland for you?
I just don't think. I mean, I'd rather get $700 for a pitcher that has strikeout upside. and not pitching in Coors Field. I get it, right? I talk about Kyle Freeland all the time. Free money Freeland at home in Coors Field. We'll talk on that once we get to the bats. But that's more a case just to fade the chalkiest offense on the slate than play a guy like Kyle Freeland that's only $700 cheaper than a guy with tons more K upside. So that's the reason for that.
Anytime you get off the Braves, they go for about 10. So now you're going to get off Freeland. I see a 25 for Freeland coming. I'm going on DK tonight, baby. Going to have free money Freeland in there just for the people. All right. So I'm going to definitely be playing on DK tonight, one team. And then We the People says that Cubs will smoke Freeland today. I don't disagree with you because I don't think Freeland's any good, but I got to go and rib on my boy Nades because he always talking about free money Freeland. So to answer your question, rank them. Like I said, I don't have any interest in anybody below 8K. My rankings aren't going to change. I'm going to have Tyler Glass now, number 1. Number 2 for me would be Brandon Woodruff. Gets a great matchup against those fish, in my opinion. Number 3, I've actually changed, after we looked at Luzardo and the numbers for the Brewers, I'm going the Lizard King is going to be my 3rd best pitcher. I'll definitely have some of him on FanDuel just to get a little contrarian. So Glasnow, Woodruff, and Luzardo are going to be my top 3, Nades.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I'm going to go Woodruff. We're having a fish fry Monday night, not Friday night here. Woodruff's going to cook up a nice fish fry here tonight with these nice Marlins, nice little bougie dinner here to watch that Monday night football game, which I'll be on. That's the key to have multiple TVs, folks. You can put the baseball game on one, football game on the other, and definitely enjoy this fish fry that he's cooking up. Tyler Glasnow will be number 2 for me. Logan Gilbert, I do like Logan Gilbert. Hard to ignore the matchup, the projection, everything. I mean, this guy could strike out 12 of these Angels here tonight, so I do like him. And then my lower owned guy, I do like the Lizard King there, Call. But I'm going to go Gavin Williams. I just think he ranks very good here. Can get some strikeouts against this San Francisco Giants lineup here. Good pitchers park there in San Francisco. And then, like I said, if I am punting, it is with Cutter Crawford. Let's go game by game here. Let me pull up the sheet that I need to look at. First game. Go ahead.
Real quick before you do that, sorry. Our boy Richie Smalls says all that money that Title won, his wedding's going to get more expensive. And Title already knows it's going to get very expensive, but hopefully his fiance didn't see that 6K winner, that 4K winner equaling 10K. Mr. 10K himself, he's going to be spending all that money. Hope he's saving some of that, or hopefully he wins that millie tonight. And his weddings, he won't care how much that wedding is.
I'll give the people a little secret here. I don't think it matters how much he's winning. Title's been winning for years, and his fiance there is a very, very sweet lady. I met them out in Denver at the NBA Live Final. He obviously got that trip from one of the members, filled in for someone who won the ticket, gave them the trip, and he took his girl. Very nice girl. I think she definitely knows these DFS streets and knows how sharp Title is. So I don't think just because he won as of late, that wedding was going up. I think it was already going to be expensive either way. And I saw Title comment on that, but congratulations to them again. Obviously awesome there. Title, hometown boy, Wisconsin kid, just like me here. So love to see that. But let's go game by game. First game on the slate I'm looking at is the Yankees in Fenway there. I already brought up the weather, slight wind blowing in, about 70 degrees. Clark Schmidt on the mound, Cutter Crawford on the mound. I have interest in Cutter Crawford, but I am seeing the Yankees as the second highest owned stack currently projected on the slate, obviously because of the Fenway guaranteed ninth inning at bats there. I'm personally going to fade these Yankees. I do think this is an opportunity where you could play both sides of it. Obviously, Cutter Crawford, my favorite punt pitcher. But hit on this game. Do you have interest in any of these Yankees or Red Sox?
Yeah, no interest for me on the Yankees side. I'm with you. Is that's a watered down lineup. If you take Aaron Judge and put somebody else's name in there, then no one's talking about the Yankees. I mean, obviously Aaron Judge could always play him as a one-off, but as a full stack, no, thank you. And then the Red Sox, I do have tons of interest in these Red Sox. We always talk about them. They hit much better at home, and rightfully so. But give me these Red Sox tonight. I like them as a full stack. I think you can stack anybody in this lineup 1 through 6. Trevor Story, I think, is fine. Yoshida batting in the 5-hole. Cassis, I mean, the list goes on. Turner, Devers, Verdugo. I think you can stack any of those, just finding the right guys against Clark Schmidt. So I do have interest in these Red Sox. No interest in the Yankees outside of Aaron Judge as a one-off. But even then, he'd be tough to get to just based on his price. So yeah, I'm out on the Yankees. I'm not paying $4,200 for Judge on FanDuel.
Yeah, Yankees are a fade for me. Obviously, Judge. You can always play Judge. Jake Bowers, I think, is fine, but not a ton of interest there. My interest is definitely on these Red Sox. If you look at this lineup, 7 lefties, and if you look at where Clark Schmidt gets hit, obviously he does still have a good strikeout rate to the left side of the plate, but he gets hit for more power from the left side. His ground ball rate drops significantly. His fly ball rate comes up. So give me these lefties, and there's 7 of them that hit right-handed pitching very good on the season. Verdugo, Devers, crush right-handed pitching there. Tristan Cassis has a nice price point there at first base. He's a great play. Yoshida, this Wheeler Abreu guy down here in the outfield position, cheap price point and 3K flat, has very good numbers against righties as well. So I do think these Red Sox, don't sleep on the back half of the lineup. Give me the lefties only. Obviously, you can always include the power righties there, Justin Turner, Trevor Story, but give me the lefties. So I do like the lefties here for the Red Sox a little bit, and Yankees are a fade for me. I like Cutter Crawford. Next game on the slate, we have the D-backs here. We have the Mets, Jose Quintana on the mound, Zach Davies. Zach Davies, we know what he is, below average strikeout pitcher, limits hard contact a little bit, but these Mets do have right around a 5 implied run total here against Zach Davies. Jose Quintana, you brought it up. He's actually been pretty good, but any interest in Tommy Pham, Christian Walker, who both smash lefties, get a pretty overall below average pitcher here. Any interest in this one?
Former Brewer grade, if memory serves me correct, right? In Zach Davies, yeah. So the problem with Davies is he's a ground ball pitcher, and I'm going to pick on fly ball pitchers. I mean so I think I'm out on the Mets just with the ballpark and it being Davies. I mean Davies is no good. So if you wanted to take some Mets, I think the lefties would be the way to go. I'm just not going to be on them. And then, like I said, I do have some interest in Quintana. I certainly understand. I mean, Christian Walker's a notable lefty masher, has been his whole career, I feel like. Now that I'm thinking about that, and I think Tommy Pham played for the Mets maybe earlier this season. So a little revenge narrative there if you wanted to go there, and he hits lefties good too. So I know Pham has played for a bunch of teams. I think the Mets being one of them. But in any event, I think overall, as an overall stack, I'm not gonna play it. But I do think you could pick off Christian Walker as a one-off piece if you wanted to.
Yeah, great breakdown. I think you can actually mini stack these D-backs here. Tommy Pham, Christian Walker. I love Tommy Pham's price point there, 3,500, hitting in the third spot here. 282 expected ISO on the year on the road against left-handed pitching. And then Christian Walker smashes lefties. Love him. 316 expected ISO on the season. Low strikeout. Both of them have a sub 20% strikeout rate. Love both of those guys. Lourdes Gurriel hits them very well. Doesn't strike out. So I like the middle of this order for these righties. These righties for the D-backs. Obviously, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, 2 great hitters, but lefty, don't love those guys. Give me these righties for the D-backs. I like them a little bit here. It's not the greatest hitting weather in Citi Field. Slight wind blowing out, about 77 degrees, so it's decent for this time of the year. Obviously, September baseball temperatures start dropping across the country. It's not July and August where we're seeing 105, 110 degree weather. So not the craziest play. The Mets side, don't have a ton of interest in the Mets. I do want to bring up one guy, my boy, DJ Stewart, 3,100, hitting the 5 spot here against Davies. I don't think he's the craziest play. Nice little salary saver there. Obviously, Pete Alonso, you can always play him. But my interest is more on these righties here for the D-backs a little bit. I think they're definitely in play for me. Next game on the slate, we have Glasnow on the mound, Sonny Gray for the Twins. Game in Minnesota here. Both teams have under a 4 implied run total, one of the lowest totals on the board. I think this is a pretty easy stay away spot for bats. I think both pitchers, definitely Glasnow. I love Glasnow, but Sonny Gray, good enough real life pitcher to not take me off of this game. No bats for me in this one.
I've been chomping at the bit to get on my favorite game, and I think you skipped over it, but we can come back to it. No interest in the bats here. Too much respect for Sonny Gray, and Glasnow is my SP1 on the slate. I know some of those Twins do profile well, but give me Glasnow, and I'll be playing no Rays either.
Yeah, great breakdown. I'm in lockstep with you. Next game on the slate I'm looking at is the Fish heading into Milwaukee to face the Brewers. I think it's going to be a Woodruff fish fry here against those Fish. Luzardo on the mound. I think this is a pitcher's duel in this one. No bats for me on either side. Same as last game. Do you see anything I miss?
Yep. Nope. Same. It's going to be a fish fry. Woodruff is going to have the best Marlin he's ever had, and it's going to be tonight. And then the Lizard King on the other side, I'm all in. Not I shouldn't say all in. I'm very interested in the Lizard King with this lineup that the Brewers have rolled out. So no bats for me in this game.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Next game, we're going into Chicago here, south side of Chicago. Still the Windy City, sub 70-degree temperatures here. But we got Brady Singer on the mound, Dylan Cease on the mound. Cease, one of the most popular pitchers on the slate. So the Royals side, you might get a little leverage. These White Sox do have a 5 implied run total. Royals sitting at 4, right around 4.5 on our stuff over here. So both teams do have a decent implied run total. Brady Singer has been pretty bad as of late, like you said. Dylan Cease always has the possibility of blowing up here. I don't see a ton here. Obviously, you got Bobby Witt, Salvi Perez, MJ Melendez. I think those guys. My guy Nelson Velasquez, I like him a lot more at home, though. So not a ton of interest for me on the Royals side. And then White Sox side, I haven't played the White Sox in I can't remember when. So I'm fading this game as well. Do you see anything I miss?
Yeah, no bats for me. And Cease actually struggles with lefties. And the problem is that all the quote unquote good Royals bats, I shouldn't say most of them are from the right-handed side. You talk about Salvi, talk about Bobby Witt Jr., Nelson Velasquez, Michael Garcia. So MJ Melendez sticks out a little bit. You know, he typically bats in the 4-hole, if you will, clean up. He's got a little bit of power, so I don't know if that lineup has been out yet. Actually, it is out. So him, I don't mind. And then if Michael Massey's in the lineup, he would be the other one. But the lefties is what gives Cease the most problems. And that's the problem with full stacking these Royals is that they don't have the bats, in my opinion, to get there. I'm with you as it relates to the White Sox. I mean, Brady Singer, I said it earlier, hadn't been good his last 3 starts. But man, if these White Sox beat me with the offenses that I like, they just beat me. So no pitchers in this game nor hitters. I'm going to completely fade this game from my perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's jump back to the game that I skipped over. The Texas Rangers in Toronto here. Bassett Hound on the mound. Dane Dunning on the hill for the Rangers here. Both teams, 4 implied run total for the Rangers, 4.5 for the Blue Jays here. I'm not seeing a ton. Obviously, Corey Seager. I couldn't imagine playing Corey Seager on Friday at 6,400. Well, he shoved it up our boy in the chats. There, the Rangers got the job done. So just wanted to note that, put that on record that I got the receipts. I got the receipts in the chat. Obviously, it's all good fun there, friendly bickering. I couldn't imagine playing one of the hottest hitters in baseball in a game that is definitely streaky. So not sure what was going on there, but Corey Seager, I'll bring it up again. Elite one-off on the slate, shortstop. Typically a pretty weak position. I get it. He is 6,500, but the dude has a 315 expected ISO. Gets to face Bassett Hound here, who struggles versus hard contact. So I don't hate him. And then Mitch Garver obviously has great numbers on the season against righties as well. Obviously, I like him better against a lefty, but he's hitting in the cleanup spot here. 342 expected ISO on the road this season against righties. Gets one that can get hit around a little bit here in the Bassett Hound. Any interest in this game on either side outside of those 2 Rangers bats that I just brought up?
Yeah, where is my boy Sean V today? We're missing Sean V. Come on, Sean V, get in here. Take your ribbing from my boy Nades after Seager bombed in his first AB on Friday night. I do have to admit, though, Nades got the best of me on Friday night as well. I said take Mackenzie Gore, and Mackenzie Gore's on the IL now. So that tells you all you need to know what happened Friday night. Nades got that one, got the best of me. Taking those Dodgers, taking JD Martinez, taking Max Muncy. Man, that was hurtful. Every time I saw a 1-2 count, it was like a home run the next pitch. In any event, going back to this game, this was my favorite game. And to me, this is a great game to pivot off of the Coors Field game. To me, you have 2 offenses here that are much better than the Rockies and the Cubs. Nades, you always talk about it, how Dane Dunning struggles on the road. He struggles against lefty power. I think the last time it was against the Twins. And Title's boy, Matt Wallner, hit a grand slam off of him. So tons of interest in this game as a full game stack, and I definitely love it better than the Rockies-Cubs game as a pivot off of it. Just to tell you why I like it a little bit better is the Bassett Hound struggles against lefty fly ball hitters. He gives up a ton of power to lefties. Nade's alluded to it. I mean, Corey Seager is a smash play tonight, in my opinion. Mitch Garver is a smash play tonight. then I would pair it with 2 other lefties on FanDuel and 3 other lefties on DraftKings. And you could, to me, you could go all the way down to Josh Smith. Evan Carter has stolen base upside. So I think you could play really 1 through 9 in here. Believe it or not, the one lefty I don't like, and I don't think I've played him in over 2 months, is Nathaniel Lowe, or Lau, however you say his name. I don't know why he bats third, but he doesn't. And so ton of interest in those Rangers. Then on the flip side, going over to Toronto, actually, as much as I like Texas, I even like Toronto that much better. Like I said a minute ago, Nade's got me on, Dunning on the road, lefty power. So who's the lefty power? All right, Dalton Varsho, Kevin Biggio, Brandon Belt. I think you could play any of those guys, and then sprinkle in, some of those righties, because eventually he's going to get pulled, and then a reliever's going to come in. So Davis Schneider, who's been phenomenal this season. I mean, you can always play Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, or George Springer, sprinkle one of those in with those 3 lefties. I think you got the recipe for success tonight.
Yeah, and looking at the weather, I'm assuming the roof is going to be open there in Toronto. Some slight wind blowing out, about 75 degrees to start the game, so not the worst hitting conditions. But yeah, I like the lefties on both sides of the plate here. Love Corey Seager, love Mitch Garver, obviously from the righty, but I love him. And then you got 3 switch hitters there: Robbie Grossman, Leody Taveras, Jonah Him, right there in that lineup. All switch hitters, going to start from the left side of the plate against Mr. Basset Hound here. Evan Carter, you got him as a lefty, 2,500. That dude has tons of power and tons of stolen base upside. I forgot to mention that on Friday. Hamwich and I were talking after, and I said, pulled up his minor league. I think he had like 26 stolen bases, like 15 or 16 home runs in his minor league stint this year. So he's just 2,500 stone minimum there, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Nice little wraparound, reach around. You go an Everett Carter, Corey Seager stack. It middles that price down. I mean, 2,500, 6,500 there, 9,000 for 2 bats, 4,500 a piece. Makes a nice little price point there. It definitely saves $2,000 off of that Corey Seager, that price point there. So that's a nice little mini stack I don't hate. And then on the Blue Jays side, yeah, you named it. Lefty power, lefty fly ball hitters. And who does that start with? That starts with Brandon Belt, followed by Dalton Varsho, Kevin Biggio, one of the best value plays, in my opinion, at second base on the slate. 2,900 there. I like him. So I don't mind this game. I think both sides are stackable. Both sides make some sense here. And I don't see a ton of ownership going to this game either. So like that as a lower owned game here. Let's jump back in line and let's go out to Houston, where these Houston Astros head back home to face these Oakland Athletics in the terrible bullpen. Mason Miller is going to start the game here for the Athletics. Framber Valdez on the hill here. Obviously, I brought up the point already. Doesn't strike out any righties over the last month and gets to face 8 of them here. So don't think some of these righties are the craziest play on the Athletics. I think there's much better spots to do it here, but Valdez is going to be the second highest owned pitcher on the slate. And these Athletics, nobody's going to go to them. So definitely a game theory approach there. My favorite would be Brent Rooker right there in the 4-hole. A cleanup spot there. Tons of power upside for him. He's just 3,400. And then on the Astros, one of my favorite stacks of the night. I like them 1 through 9. I wish Yainer Diaz was in that lineup, but you get Martin Maldonado there at just 2,400. He's had some home runs on the year here. So love the Astros in this one. Athletics, mini stack righties, preferably for me, but I do think there's better spots to go than these Athletics.
Yeah, I learned my lesson in stacking these Athletics in the FanDuel Live Final. Very hurtful that day. They made Mike Clevenger look like Nolan Ryan out there. So those guys are I'm not a fan of them. I'm not playing any Athletics, and you've talked me off of Framber. It just doesn't make any sense to play Framber when we got guys with strikeout upside. There's no sense in playing a guy that's been striking out righties at a 14% clip over the last 30. So no Athletic bats for me. And then it's probably I don't know. I just don't play bats against bullpen games. I just think we can find better offenses. I certainly understand that Astros been absolutely electric over the last 2 weeks, and really the last month since they got all their guys back. But there's just too much mixing and matching and platoon stuff that goes on in these bullpen games. So I'm out on these Astros tonight.
Yeah, no, I get the case for it. I still think it's a powerful offense. I think they're preparing for October baseball here, preparing for the stretch. They'll start shutting it down a little bit, but I think it's still right now they just want to get in the groove, continue to smash the baseball around. So I do like the Astros 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me. Obviously, the big boys, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez, my 2 favorite bats. Anyone else in between there? Next game, we have to talk about it. Chalk of the slate. It's Coors Field. It's the Cubs. It's the Rockies. Kyle Freeland on the mound. Jordan Wicks on the hill for the Cubs to start the game here. Man, have to bring it up. The Cubs going to be the highest owned team by far on the slate. 6.5 implied run total. Rockies sitting at 5.2. Where are you going in this one? What stands out to you?
Yeah, I'm going to be lighter than the field in this game. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of this Cubs offense. I understand they got a almost a 6.5 implied run total. I say it all the time though, on slates like this, when there's 11 games, I just feel like there's paths that teams are going to outscore the Cubs, and if you can get that at a half or a quarter of the ownership, I'm trying to win GPPs, and so I want to do that. Can the Cubs go off for 15? Absolutely. Do I think that they are? I don't. And I think there's other teams that are going to outscore them. I think there's better offenses. I think there's better offenses than the Cubs and the Rockies for that matter. But I'm going to be less than the field. I mentioned it earlier. Texas and Toronto, to me, are both better offenses facing similarly bad pitchers. So I'm lower than the field. I think I'm only going to do 3 to 4 teams. I don't even know if I'll have, any Rockies on my – I know I won't have any Rockies, and I may just have one Cubs team, but that would be one at the most if I'm doing 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I do have a little interest here in the Cubs. Just looking at the numbers here for Kyle Freeland. He's given up 6 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, 4 runs, 6 runs. Last game he gave up 3 home runs. Game before that didn't any, but the game before that, so 6 home runs in the last 3 games at home here in Coors Field. I think these Cubs definitely can hit for power. I want the home run guys here for the Cubs. Christopher Morel, I love him. Cody Bellinger, obviously love him. Lefty. I don't really care about that. Candelario, if he's in there. Yan Gomes, I love Yan Gomes. 3,700 catcher position, lefty smasher. Love him. Sia Suzuki's been one of the best hitters in baseball. He's up to 4,200 now. I still love him. I think 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me. Obviously, that lineup is not out yet, so definitely monitor that if you are building lineups early before you go into your NFL lineups. But fly ball guys for me, Patrick Wisdom, if he's in there, Yan Gomes, Christopher Morel, Swanson, Bellinger, love all those guys. Sia Suzuki rounding out there. On the other side, on the Rocky side, I do think the Rockies get a decent amount of ownership here, looking like one of the highest owned teams. I mean, they'll be a little bit lower owned, but Coors Field, I mean, offense is pretty gross here. Everyone's going to go to Coors Field. I think the Rockies are a fade for me. I just hate playing a team that just strikes out a ton. So not a ton of interest there. If I had to pick out a bat, it'd be Nolan Jones, lefty. Think he goes lower owned. Can hit lefties pretty good. He'd be my favorite by far. Couple games left on the slate. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Do want to bring this up one more time as we got more people that have joined throughout the course of the show. 3, 2, 1 blast off. You got about 4 hours left to get in, because once kickoff does launch for tonight's Monday Night Football game, this price will be going away. $321 gets you locked in for 6 months. Why is this price important? Well, it takes your monthly membership cost down once you do the math to $53 a month. So cheapest low all-in rate in the industry. You got everything you can have. Everything you need to have success with DFS is how we like to put it. Tools, projections, content. It's not just about who's nades on, who's how much on, what's their core plays. Let me plug that in. Let me ask a 2v2 question in the Discord and build their lineup. No, we have tools, we have content, we have projections, proprietary information to help you build your own lineups, build your own process, and ultimately be successful with DFS long-term, is which we like to do. ShipItNation.com, again, 321 6-month blast-off package.
Hey, real quick, Andrew Martinez asked in the chat, who's going to be more owned today, Valdez or Gilbert?
Gilbert by far, but both those are the 2 chalkiest pitchers on the slate, both going to become 30% plus. And I gave the reason for the Valdez fade. 8 righties he's facing, strikes out under 15% of righties over the last month. So that's why I'm out on Valdez, but I do like Logan Gilbert here. Next game, we have 3 games left. First game to talk about is that game with that Logan Gilbert there. Pitcher's Ballpark in Seattle. Angels lineup. 28% strikeout rate on the season against right-handed pitching. Now get to face a very, very quality pitcher there at home in a pitcher's ballpark. I think the Angels are the easiest cross-off spot, one of them on this slate. Didn't even anticipate playing or looking at any of those bats. But on the Mariners side, they are implied to score over 5 runs. Get Reed Detmers here, who has been decent. I mean, 26% strikeout rate on the year, limits hard contact. I don't think they're the craziest play. Dylan Moore, if he's in there, I always bring him up. He's 3,500, second base, outfield eligible. Second base, typically a pretty weak position. I think he makes some sense. Teo Hernandez, obviously been one of the best hitters as of late, along with Julio Rodriguez. I don't think the Mariners are the craziest plays. Don't love it. Don't love the ballpark. But I think you could do worse. So moderate interest in these Mariners, no interest in the Angels for me. Where are you going?
Yeah, I was looking at this game, and like you said, I mean, Logan Gilbert, I'm off of Logan Gilbert. Like I said, I'm only playing 3 teams tonight, but I'll be off of him just based on the fact that I don't think he's going to get much more than 90 pitches. So no Gilbert, but no Angels either for me. I don't like the Angels bats, but and then I wanna like Reed Detmers just because the Mariners strike out at such an alarming clip at home versus left-handed pitching. But just looking at his metrics, he has not been very good over the last month. And then he did face these same Mariners, albeit it was at home and not on the road a month ago, and just got absolutely lit up. So I think I'm going to be out on Detmers. I mean, I could see him as a viable, if you only had 7,100 left as an SP2 and hope he gets you, 15 to 18. I think that's serviceable. But overall, I'm going to be off on the sticks and the pitchers in this game just because the ballpark is not the best.
Yeah, I will. Looking at the numbers here a little bit more, I mean, Seattle's been one of the best hitting teams in baseball over the last month against right-handed pitching. I mean, Julio Rodriguez, 333 ISO, Teo Hernandez, 263 ISO, Suarez, 200, Cal Raleigh's up there. Dylan Moore, like I talked about, 318 ISO. Sam Haggerty, if he's in that lineup, 231 ISO. So I do think the Seattle Mariners are a pretty sneaky stack here tonight. Looking at ownership, I'm not seeing them get a ton of ownership at all. I mean, combined stack ownership under 5%. So I do like them here tonight the more I looked, because looking at the numbers for Reed Detmers over the last 30 days, 14% strikeout rate to the left side of the plate, 15% to the right side, and very low ground balls to righties and high fly balls. So I don't think the Mariners are the craziest stack here at very minimal ownership. Next game on the slate here, we have Cleveland in San Francisco. Alex Cobb on the mound, Gavin Williams. I have zero interest in this game in terms of bats. Talked on Gavin Williams being a low-owned pitcher option that could post a nice score here. Has a big arm, strikeout upside, gets to face a lineup that has some strikeout-heavy bats in the back half of that lineup, north of 30%. So bats, easy stay-away spot for me. Do you see anything I miss?
Yeah, no, when you said that, it got me thinking. I mean, this is obviously a pitcher's ballpark, and I'll go ahead and give the people something that maybe I shouldn't, but Jock Jams. Jock Jams is our number 1 ranked hitter on the slate, in this park against Gavin Williams. So I don't mind, I guess, Jock Peterson as a one-off, but overall with the wind, with the weather in this ballpark, yes, it's more going to be a pitcher's duel. But I think if you wanted to get a one-off in this game, Jock Peterson, I think it has a little bit of interest just based on numerous things. And then also our proprietary metrics that you speak of does have Jock Jams as the number 1 hitter on the slate tonight. So that would be about the extent of my exposure.
Yeah, Jock Jams, Lamonte Wade, both rank very good in our rankings over here. So I think both of those are fine plays. I just don't love it a ton. Peterson would be my favorite. Lamonte Wade, that's a nice little mini stack there. 3,400, 4,100. Both of them have tons of power, low strikeouts against right-handed pitching. It's just I don't like picking on Gavin Williams. He ranks very good in our metrics as well. Limits hard contact, barrel rate under 5%, strikeout rate over league average. So that's kind of the reason for that. Not the greatest park either. Did want to bring up Bossbra in the chat. We appreciate you tuning in. Why is Cease popping? Cease is popping because of his price point and the Kansas City Royals matchup. I'm personally out on Dylan Cease. I like Gavin Williams right there around him, or Luzardo, a little bit more expensive. So I threw Dylan Cease out, but that's the reason he's popping. These Royals against right-handed pitching on the season strike out at a 30% clip against righties, and Dylan Cease, 26.5% strikeout rate on the year. I just going to fade that ownership. is personally how I'm approaching it. I like the two guys that he's sandwiched between. So I'd much rather just go there and take my chances at the discount of ownership for that. Did want to bring that up in the chat. Last game on the slate, I have an interest in one of these sides. I don't think both sides are crazy. Obviously, my interest, I love these Dodgers again, going right back to the well here with the Dodgers. But I don't think the Padres are the craziest plays either here. Pretty good hitting weather out there in Dodger Stadium, pulling up the weather. I believe slight wind blowing out here. Overall, pretty solid conditions. Bad pitcher on the hill for the Dodgers. I don't think Gavin Stone is any good. Expected ERA almost at 8. Strikeout rate of just 10.5%. Don't think he's going to pitch very long, but when he is out there, I think he gets beat around a little bit. Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Machado, Garrett Cooper at just 2,700. If he's in that lineup, I think is an excellent value play at first base. And then on the Dodgers, usual suspects. Max Muncy is absolutely locked in at the plate right now. He's seen beach balls. JD Martinez right behind him, crushing the baseball. James Outman, I love him here too. I love these Dodgers 1-9 firmly in play. I like the late night hammer here tonight quite a bit, both sides of the plate or both sides of the game.
Yeah. All valid points. And I see We the People's with you on those lefties. I mean, Avila can't strike any lefties out under 10% or right at 10% over the last 30 days. And Freeman and Betts, you could theoretically play every night if you wanted to. Those are always great plays. So I don't mind the Dodgers. I'll be a little bit lower than you on them, I believe. And then with the Padres, I actually like the Padres a little bit better going up against Gavin Stone, who's not terrible by any means, but just not a major league pitcher yet, in my opinion. So I don't mind playing some of these Padres. They'll be virtually unowned tonight, and so because everybody will be flocking to the Dodgers. So give me these Padres over the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, no, I like both
is
sides.
Bet still out? Sorry.
I'm seeing him in the projected lineup right now.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that changes. If it does change, it just makes the stack cheaper. I still think it's fine. Like I said, I stacked the Dodgers up on Friday. They hit 4 or 5 home runs without Betts there. Now get a pitcher who can't strike out lefties. Probably going to see 5 lefties at least here. So the lefties are definitely my preference. Freddie Freeman, one of my favorite bats, followed by Max Muncy. James Outman is a nice price point there at just 3,600. Overall, I love this game on both sides. Let's go ahead and give the people our top 3 offenses on the slate, and then we'll give the home run call, low pitcher call, and get on out of here.
Yeah, I think if you've been watching the whole show, I think you know who my favorite stacks are tonight. But you're going to know early. Like Hoop said on today's show, you're going to know early if you can go to bed or if you're going to need to stay up and sweat it. I have Toronto as my number 1 stack of the day. Number 2 is going to be the Texas Rangers. My 3rd stack is going to be the Boston Red Sox at home against Clark Schmidt. I think they go under own would be my top 3. And then if I had to give a low-ish owned stack, I would say I would play devil's advocate, and I would go to these Los Angeles Angels and take the Angels as a low-owned stack, just an off-the-board. You're trying to win, the 100,000 person entry would be the Angels, just double leverage against that Kirby chalk. Talk a little bit about the ownership percentages as a whole. Who's going to be the top 4 owned teams?
Cubs for sure, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Padres. Mets are right there too, is how I'm seeing it right now. I will tell you, before you go play those Angels, I'll send you my PayPal. You can just send me your entry fees. I'll do a little kicks and screams. I'll swing and miss at a couple of bats, and you'll get the same entertainment out of that. So I'll take your entry fee there. I'll put it into the Monday Night Football contest tonight. Save you the headache there of dealing with those Angels against Logan Gilbert. But I'll go ahead and give my top number 1 team of the night here is the Dodgers. Love the Dodgers here. I do like the Cubs as well. I just don't think Freeland has it right now. He's struggled. He's given up 6 home runs in the last 3 games at home. Cubs have a lot of fly ball guys that can smash the baseball. So I like the Cubs at their price points. The nice thing about that is you can still play the Cubs and double spend a pitcher. So that's why I like that. You don't have to pump pitcher. My low owned stack of the day is the Seattle Mariners. Talked about them quite a bit against Reed Detmers. Sounds like we the people, we're going to be printing money or holding hands at the bottom of the leaderboard one way or another. Play for first or last is how I play DFS. So I do like those Mariners as a low-owned stack as well. Go ahead. I'll kick it to you first. Your low-ish owned pitcher of the evening.
Yeah, as it relates to the lowest pitcher, let's see. I don't really have any interest in anybody lower than 8K. But with that being said, I don't think that the Lizard King is going to garner much ownership. Give me the Lizard King as my low-owned pitcher of the day.
Yeah, that's a great call there. And I'm going right below him, $500 cheaper. I'm going to Gavin Williams against those San Francisco Giants. I talked about it already. 8K ranks very good in our metrics over here. I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the projections. I'm trusting the tools that we have available over here at SHIPIT Nation. And he ranks very, very highly in the top 5 on our ranking system over here. I'll do it. It's time for the dawn call of day, home run call of day. Where are you going, Hamwich?
I think it's hopefully I'm not stealing your guy, but I think this is a cheat code. I think it's too easy, to be honest with you. He's in my favorite game stack, number 2 stack, batting in the 2-hole. Your boy from Friday night, Corey Seager, takes Chris Bassett deep. I'm going to say about a 95% chance he goes deep tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine playing Corey Seager. Shout out to our guy Sean V in the chat, but had to say that. So hopefully he does it again. Hopefully someone in the comments can say, can't imagine paying $6,500 for Corey Seager. So he hits a first at bat home run again here. Nice little jab at our boy Sean V, who's always in the chat. We miss you, Sean V. Haven't seen you in here chirping me. So maybe I'm doomed tonight. Maybe I'm not going to win any money because I'm not getting chirped in the YouTube chat. But I'm going to go to my favorite stack of the night. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm going to the lefty. I'm going right back to James Outman at his price point. I think he gets another one over the wall here tonight in Dodger Stadium. Love those lefties there in that Dodgers game. And then I'm going to my second one is going to be, I'm giving a little bonus here. I'm giving the Seattle Mariners. He's going to probably hit 7th. It's going to be Dylan Moore, dual position eligibility there. Going to be unowned. Nice value play there at 3,500 on DraftKings. I think he takes Mr. Reed Detmers deep at 0 ownership tonight. That's going to do it. We appreciate all 114 of you that hung out with us on this baseball Monday here. Obviously, Monday Night Football tonight. My boy, Aaron Rodgers, going to be tough to see him in a Jets jersey over there, but wish the man the best. Obviously, the Bills coming out. Going to make a statement, I think, this season after a letdown last year. Obviously, a loaded AFC there. Going to be a fun game. We have you covered right here on this channel. There was already a show. Go on, listen to Tambo Hoop and Title, break down the game tonight before you build your lineups after you get your MLB stuff in using our process right here. You can throw that show on 1.5x. Get you all the winners. All the content's already up on the site, baseball and NFL. We get you the content out early. Less small talk, more slate talk, more money to play in your contest. You're getting for a cheaper price. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We appreciate you all a ton. Good luck tonight in your contest. For Hamwich, I'm Nades. Let's ship it.